Hey everybody, Real World Prepper here, broadcasting from beautiful Area 53. So, just getting settled in here. Today we're going to talk about how Trump and Republicans and conservatives in general are going to lose. We're on the losing end of this stick. So stick around. Be right back. All right, guys and gals, children of some ages, listen, welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being patient while we have gotten things together and tried to get back on track with the channel. First off, let me let you know, guys, that I went ahead and started a Patreon page. For those of you that are looking on a laptop or a desktop, here's where you would find it. In my About section on the channel banner. If you scroll across, look at the About section, and you will see it there in the upper kind of right corner. It says Join Me on Patreon or something to that effect. And if you are looking from a mobile device, if you'll look here, I've got them both circled as you can see. There is a circle with an arrow and it's in blue. It's a clickable link. Join me here. Join me on Patreon, whatever it says. I'm not sure. Not actually looking at it right now myself. There's also the other two arrows which shows you my email address and my P.O. box. Please come on over and join me. I'm going to put much of the content that's here on YouTube, certainly most of it going forward, and I will be doing some exclusive content on the Patreon channel as we go forward, as I get everything hooked up. I'm still waiting on internet connection here at Area 53. So this video will be recorded today on Tuesday the 25th, and will probably not be uploaded until tomorrow, Wednesday the 26th. Anyway, why do I say Trump's already lost it? Why do I say that? And Republicans and conservatives in general, you know, it's all about that. Well, a Project Veritas leak came out just a few days ago. If you guys don't know who Project Veritas is, I'm assuming you've never watched this channel or anything like it before. But this guy is an investigative journalist who has gone undercover and unveiled lots of things about Planned Parenthood, about various Democratic politicians. Sorry, it's been a minute since I've done an in-depth video. Lots of things. So anyhow, they go undercover and they're talking to, among other people, Genal, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. She's the head of responsible innovation at Google. And some of the things that she says, first of all, this is brought forth by a guy who remains unnamed, who is a Google employee that went to Project Veritas as a whistleblower. They are putting in various AI new algorithms because people are not saying and reading the right things, the right narrative, the things that they want you to know, the things that are of the left. Go into Google right now and talk about, type in the search bar, men can, and see what the first results are. Men can have babies. Men can menstruate. Men can become women. All sorts of things. I mean, this is not search results. This is not popularity contest. This is not actual trending. This is social engineering. So along with this, and that's one minor example. I mean, there's lots and lots and lots of this stuff that's going on, but Google is behind it. One of the biggest superpowers in the tech industry, you know, and of course they're a liberal outfit. You know, they want nothing to do with Donald Trump, nothing to do with conservatives, nothing to do with Republicans. This woman Genal says a myriad of things, including people who voted for Trump don't agree with our definition of fairness. with Google's definition of fairness, with the people who run that platform's definition of fairness. So we have to define what fairness is for them and make it happen in search results. Make fairness happen. What? You know, make fairness happen. We've got to define and decide what fairness is. We, Google, right? So, you know, so they're socially engineering this stuff. That's why you've got so many brain dead, and I hate to say it, young people out there. I know all of you aren't like this, but many of you are. Most of you are. Most of the blind generation that walks around like this all day long. That science also says you're going to grow in. Sorry about the hiccup there. But that science also says humans are going to grow a new set of bones in your neck and your vertebrae because of this action. But that's only until you know, they implant this stuff into your brain or your hand or whatever, to where you know, smart IDs and all the stuff that's coming. Okay, all the stuff that Google and the tech giants are behind that's coming. That's part of the beast system. That's part of the end of things. The Internet of Things, and the end of things that are good and wholesome and that are right, and that offer choice, that offer real choice, okay? So this Gen All, again, people who voted for Trump don't agree with their definition of fairness, so they have to deliver that definition of fairness for us. So, ML Fairness is the name, I don't know what the ML stands for, but ML Fairness is the name of an algorithm that they are training, as she said, this Gen Al, that they are training to be able to say what's fair by their definitions, by who writes the algorithms, by who loads the information into the algorithms, i.e. Google employees, liberals, leftists, people who do not want or like conservatives or their voices being heard or anything of that matter. So with Google's resources, it's going to be virtually unstoppable. Gen Al goes on to say, we are charged with preventing the next Donald Trump. So that is their job. They are charged with preventing the next Donald Trump, or him, someone like him, a conservative voice like that. That's what they claim their job is. That's what their goal is. And they've got power and resources behind them to make this thing happen. Now listen to this from USA Today. And this article is actually from fall of last year. Okay, so but it goes right along. I mean, this has been happening for since 2016, really, if not before, but really out in the open since 2016. So the title of this thing, and it's an opinion piece. And of course, more news today, more news, quote unquote, today is opinion pieces. But Trump is right. More than Facebook and Twitter, Google threatens democracy and online freedom. More than Facebook and Twitter, Google threatens democracy and online freedom. We know how much Google and Facebook and Twitter threaten democracy, not just online and freedom, but in everyday life, in the social engineering of how people think, But USA Today, of all people, come right out and say that. It's amazing. Google, YouTube, and other tech giants, they filter, they suppress, and they even directly attack conservatives. And this must stop to protect our free and open society. So, even President Donald Trump went on to say that Google and other tech companies are treading on very, very troubled territory. So I mean, everybody. It's no. What's funny about it to me is it's no secret. Yet we all sit around, other than me and some people that make videos and some people that yell and stomp and scream. But I mean, nothing's happening. This ball is rolling. It's a big snowball rolling downhill. And I've asked this question before in earlier videos. When do we do something? What do we do? What is effect? I'm asking legitimately. I don't have the answer. I'm not I don't want to be the first one to run out there and start throwing fists or whatever. But when does it stop? When does it? What do we do in the wake of this thing? We can be awake to it merely to watch it happen. So Americans must be wary of powerful institutions that seek to control what we see and what we hear. As the internet, and I'm reading here, as the internet has become an increasingly central part of modern life, big tech giants such as Facebook, Twitter, and Google have increasingly sought to become the gatekeepers of the internet and of political discourse. Again, it goes back to people who voted for Trump don't agree with our definition of fairness. You know, I always thought definition and words in general, or fairness rather, in words in general, only had one definition, you know, or maybe a couple, you know, that coincided with one another, but this is not what they're saying. They want their agenda, they want their narrative to be the one that is broadly accepted, and engineering society to accept that and to know that and to not even understand the other part of it, or if they do see or see the other side of the argument, to dismiss it immediately as poppycock, as crazy conservatives, and they want to eradicate us. They want us gone. They want us completely null and void. So as the internet becomes an increasingly central part of modern life, big tech giants such as Facebook, Twitter, Google have increasingly sought to become the gatekeepers of internet and of political discourse. Without any sort of democratic mandate, these companies have appointed themselves, with all of their money, the arbiters of acceptable thought and of discussion and of online searches, i.e. the squashing of conservative channels, the squashing of prepper channels, the squashing of patriotic Americans in online social media, such as this channel and others like it. If you've been following this channel, watch the growth. Man, we were booming along until they revamped those algorithms 2 months ago, and what happened? I planed out. And this isn't about me and my subscribership. This is about your freedom of speech, your way of life. It's disappearing. It's eroding. It's going away. You can't get back what's already gone. All you can do at best is stem the flow at this point. Stop the hemorrhaging. And I don't even believe that can be done, frankly. These companies' pervasive command of the internet and the blatant desire to control how we interact with it is a direct threat to free society. It's arguably the worst offender is Google and this platform. Well, let me rephrase that, because this may end up on another platform, but you guys know the platform I'm talking about. Google claims to value free expression and a free open internet, but that's only if it agrees with what they say and it touts what they want you to hear. But there is overwhelming evidence that the big tech giants wants the internet to be free and open only to the political and social ideas of which it approves. Amen. There you go. So Google and others are suppressing voices of conservatives and hiding information and news. That is good. They're controlling what we can and cannot see. This is a very serious situation, and it will be addressed. That was a tweet from President Trump back in, I think, October of last year. So, but I mean, that could have been a tweet by me, or by Zombie Farmer, or by Kansas Prepper, or by, Kyle at Survival Prepping for Normal People. It is what we all know and understand, we who are conservatives, who are on the right, who do want our voices and freedom of speech. And look, I don't want these guys on the left to be stymied and have their freedom of speech shut down by any means. They can say all the crazy poppycock they want that I disagree with, but they have the right to say it. But to say we're going to stifle the voice completely and engineer society so that once upon a time that's going to be a thing of the past, it'll be a relic of the past, it'll even be erased from history books. People will not understand, That's the scary thought for my child and my children's children, So it's scary, man. It's the beginning of the dystopian future that has been foretold and foreshadowed in movies and books and all kinds of things. And you've heard of this predictive programming. That's part of it. It is all a plan to socially engineer people to think a certain way, to look a certain way, to act a certain way, and to respond a certain way. That's exactly what it is. There's no way around it. I'm sure most of you guys watching this know that. So, I say all of this, and I talk about all of this today, one, just to bring it to your attention, but two, to let you know, again, that I have gone to Patreon. I am not leaving this platform, okay? I'm not leaving YouTube, at least at this point. And I say it that way because, you know, if they run me out of there, I suppose, you know, I have no choice. And if I get down to where nobody's watching, maybe then too. But right now you guys are looking. Right now you guys are watching. You know, if there's anything we can do for this not to be the end of Donald Trump's presidency, for this not to be the end of conservatism in our government, flawed and failed as it is, our voices, our personal opinions and preferences, can't we all as Americans have them and enjoy them? So if this is to be the end, let it be an end worth remembering. You got me? So I bring all this up to say I've started a Patreon channel. Please come over to Patreon, support me. $1 a month will get you there. You could put whatever you want in there. You could put as much as you want in there or as little as $1. Please come over and join me. I'm going to do some exclusive content from time to time over on Patreon. It may get more over time. I really don't know. I'm just going to play with this and see how it goes. Meanwhile, I will be loading certainly all current and new videos and media of mine from YouTube over to the Patreon as well. And again, there will be some exclusive content that I plan on putting on the Patreon channel as well. It's Real World Prepper, patreon.com/Real World Prepper, I believe is how it's found. There's a link, again, I'm going to show it right here. If you're on a laptop or a desktop, look at where it is circled right there. You can see it. Join me here. Or if you're on a mobile device, also, it is right here. You can see it circled. You'll also see my, and that's a clickable link, by the way, both of them, the one I showed you before and this one. And there's also my email address and a physical P.O. box, okay? So any support you can do would help. I'm not in this for the money, but it's, you know, it's not a hobby. It is a passion and something that I have been mandated to do, quite frankly, as I've shared in the past before. And it's not entirely cheap, so any support would be helpful. Watch either way, okay? You don't have to support, but if you do, I certainly appreciate it. So listen, that's all I've got today. Go check out the Patreon channel. Share this video, like it, share it, comment, subscribe. If you haven't already, go over to Patreon, all of that good stuff. Check out my buddies. Look at my channel list. I got some guys on there that I really think a lot of. You know, Corsair Trainers, Zombie Farmer, Kansas Prepper, Will Patriot. Go check him out. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of The Real World Prepper. Live, well, not live, but broadcasting from Area 53. See you next time.